let's get something in mind about the border. When I became president, the numbers came way down, number one. Number two, we had a circumstance where I pushed very hard for a bipartisan agreement to put more people on the border, more Secret Service agents. And guess what? He's on the phone saying, don't do it, make me look bad.
Have you ruled out a pardon for yourself or any other additional members of the family?
For myself?
Yes, sir.
What would I pardon myself for?
That's what I'm asking.
No, I have no contemplation of pardoning myself for anything. I didn't do anything wrong.
You're listening.
Yeah, like all the time I'm listening.
WATB with Christian, Eric, and Carl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're having fun. We're making it happen.
It's fun time. Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise. And here it is.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Who Are These Broadcasters, coming to you from what used to be Los Angeles, California. I'm coming to you from the smog-like thickness that just fills the air everywhere. Eric Zane, how are you today?
What are you doing?
What do you mean? There's fires everywhere. Like everywhere. Everywhere I look.
Tell me this is a joke. I suspect this is a Christian Blatt try to get sympathy super chats because you're wearing a fucking mask. You weren't wearing a mask 30 seconds ago.
What?
When you hit the goddamn start of the show.
What are you talking about? Yeah, look, I thought...
Take off the mask, you asshole.
You know me really far too well at this point after a year and a half or so. Yes, I was trying to get some pity super chats, but, you know, as we're talking right now, I remember everybody hates us, don't they? Like, literally everyone. Dwyer Christian makes the point, get fucked over the California fires, you cuck. Absolutely. And look at that. Even our buddy Carl Hamburger, Hamburgr. Yeah.
Yeah. Who, by the way, hey, can you get a quick turnaround on this W9EZ? Did you get that one, Christian?
I did. Yeah, I know. Exciting stuff because I have to send him an I-9 because I'm incorporated. So it's going to be very exciting.
I don't know what any of that fucking means. Should I be doing that too? I have no idea. What the
I mean, look, if you don't have a loan out company at this point in your career, this isn't the time to start, you know?
A what?
Yeah, right. Exactly. When you were getting some of that free beer money, that might have been the time to do it.
Okay.
But,
definitely not now.
Definitely
not now.
All right. So Easy, you did call me out. Can I save this Hollywood background for a little while?
I like, because I want that to actually happen.
All right. I mean, that's just on the other side of the hill from me. So I
know
I'd
it
rather...
is. What's the name of the fire that's in that area? Is it called the Avon fire?
Well, there's an Eaton fire.
Eaton fire. That's it. The Eaton fire.
Yeah. Right.
Which is kind of close to the Hollywood sign.
Yeah. By the way, Hamilton Burger, all my super chats are pity super chats. We thank it. Thank you for that. By the way, Victor in the chat, we'll dive into this in a moment, but says that we're getting better. He thought that we were dull at first, but we're absolutely getting better. And by the way, Apeshit Media points out the Diddy files are burning. That's a theory that I had not explored as of yet, but that would explain a lot. By the way, we're definitely growing on people because Catherine here in the chat also says, over the past few months, I've grown to love and look forward to this show. Thank you so much. But yet hashtag thank you, OJ. And I can't even explain what's going on with the obnoxious John because there's no time. You'll just have to trust us that Easy, it's in our best interest to thank OJ. Not Orenthal James Simpson, but thank obnoxious John, the podcaster. It's for our own good, really.
I'll take your word for it because I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Well, look, whether we get pity chats or actual super chats, remind everybody how it works here on this program, please, Easy.
Okay, one of the key things is when Christian signs off, he says, remember, every mic is a hot mic, and blah, 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 blah. You are the blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You give Christian something to sign off with, make it mean and incriminating, make him say something that is horrible, that would probably get him canceled if that's still even a thing. And the highest...
A week from now, we won't be able to be canceled anymore from what we say. But this week, we could still get canceled.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and attach a dollar amount to it, because if somebody has a great one and they give us $10, and then someone has a great one, even one that's shitty, but they give us 15, we're going with the 15.
We're
Fuck your 10.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. As our buddy Rocco has said in the past, money before funny. And we will definitely subscribe to that. So we appreciate that. And the super chats are probably already rolling in from
they always are.
Look,
seems like
if we don't get them for a while, I am going to put this mask back on. Okay.
Okay. That's horrible. Typically I have to actually say mean things to these losers to encourage them.
Yeah.
To give us some fucking change, because they think this is a goddamn Jerry Lewis telethon. They can just sit back and watch everything and not have to give a goddamn dime. But at some point, I'll let you have it more so than what I just did.
To be fair, there are a lot of retards on the screen. So that's probably why they might mistake us for the Jerry Lewis telethon, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's Christian Blatt saying those horrible comments, by the way.
Look, that word is back a week from today. We get to use it as often as we want. So we will dive in a moment. I will say for real, my family was very fortunate to be where we are in a community where fire hydrants work. There was only one real hardship that was imposed upon me in the last week, and that was having to suffer through about 25 minutes as a guest on the Eric Zane show. No one should have to go through that, and I mean no one should have to go through that.
You were a star. You were, hot on the heels of us beating up the goddamn mayor. Who I don't want to steal the thunder of the clip.
We'll get to it.
Oh God, what a mayor! That was spectacular.
Yeah, no, it was fun to not be asked to be on the Eric Zane show, to just be called and be on the air. I think
that's why I always do it. I do that to Carl all the time. I say, "Hey, you're on." Yeah, I know. Fuck that shit. I'm not going to arrange it. Fuck that.
No, of course. Because look, honestly,
the
somebody better might come up than me,
Right.
and I understand it. All right, let's dive into it.
Who are these fires? Who are these fires? Yo, this shit is lit. What I'm saying lit. Just like Public Enemy said in 1990. Burn Hollywood, burn.
Who are these fires?
Yeah. Once again, thank you to Doug from the Jingles department. I appreciated very much that he had some fun with that one. Who are these fires? That is really the first question that we have to talk about, Easy. And some of what we're going to see while I'm talking are just going to be some of these viral videos that were posted. Just some of the just really surprising, just I guess shocking, just seeing fires right out people's windows in Pacific Palisades. He's checking with the dog, making sure everything's all right. And I will tell you, as you look at this for our visual audience, everything is not all right. You're lying to your dog. You should have already left. But the video looks pretty cool. What are your thoughts on this for our audio-only audience, Easy?
It's fake. That's what I think. I think that's fucking fake as shit. And
you don't believe that one?
Huh?
You don't believe this one? Okay.
No. And even if it is real, there's plenty of areas there on the the opposite of what we're seeing, where he could walk out and have lemonade, and he's going, oh, it's gonna kill us, and he was fine. By the way, nothing happened to the dog.
Yeah, that's the important thing. And what about this one? This is kind of the same one, I guess. So never mind. I just realized
same thing. It's the same scam. Yeah. Look how fake it looks. Looks like a Netflix movie. Jesus Christ.
Well, I do have a fake image of the Hollywood sign burning behind me. So yes, I guess that
right there by that tree, he could easily walk out.
All right, but do you believe the ones that are taken from overhead from the airplane? I feel like those are real. Those are definitely real. The people just
I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I like this Alex Jones thing. This is fun. False flag.
Everything is a false flag as far as
this is all fake.
The one thing that I think you will agree with is a shifty-eyed immigrant wandering around in the hills and people approaching him. He has some kind of fire accelerant in his hand. And so these guys here take matters literally into their own hands. And they know to drag them behind the tree because whoever's filming. So here you can actually hear them saying, hey, this guy's trying to start fires.
Are they sure? Are we sure?
I mean, do you want me to show you the guy again? Do you need to be sure?
I think this is just an excuse to beat up some of the local blacks. I think that's what this is.
Ethnics. I think we have to be less specific. Yeah.
He started the West Hills fire because that was started at a parking lot.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, well, this guy must be the guy who started one of the specific fires.
Look,
yeah.
All we know is that this is the biggest story going.
Sure.
With the most dramatic group of people on the planet. Okay? You can't fart without it being a disaster with these people. It's millions of twats just waiting for something dramatic to happen.
Well, and I'm happy to be the I'm not King Twat, but I'm a court jester twat, trying to bring this to the people. So look, Easy, you might want to know. Everybody in the audience might want to know, how does this happen? We have a great theory that is not being explored.
Oh, the family with the poor little girl who was
fire happening right now.
Say that again?
Why is there a fire happening right now?
There are multiple fires that are taking place.
Serious?
Yeah.
You're the news though. You're supposed to know.
Well, I don't know how it started. We don't know how it started. There,
I think
winds.
it's all the gay people in LA.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
We got the.
Listen,
All the game.
I didn't think that guy was going to make sense when I first saw him. I'm not going to lie, but that has to be. Look, we have to consider it. All right, we can't exclude something just because it makes us uncomfortable, right, Eric?
Yeah, I thought that was a great troll. I mean, act stupid and then let the gays have it. I mean,
I don't know how it started. We don't know how it started. There,
I think
winds.
it's all the gay people in LA.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
We got the.
all right, okay.
Unacceptable.
All right.
Unacceptable, and yet it's probably my favorite clip from everything we're going to show today.
Yes, this fire is awesome. I love this fire. I am so happy that this fire happened.
I'm a lot happier about it today, but because as I told you when I was on the Eric Zane show, which people can find at ericzaneshow.com. You're also on Twitch. But we do actually have suitcases packed by the front door, just in case, because you never know. When we did the show last week, I had to do it in a different spot, not this room that I'm in, because we had like 100-mile-per-hour winds and I'm surrounded by glass.
I mean, that's smart, but I mean, all for the price of entertainment. And we are blessed with this fire, and thank you. And dicks out for those who died.
So what Eric is saying is thank you to whoever said it. I am not saying that, but that's what Eric Zane is saying.
I don't know that it was set by anyone. They're saying now it was like a electrical issue.
Well, we have some theories coming up a little bit later in the show, but Fader Dragon, thanks for the $5. All this tax document talk won't hide the fact that Carl's podcast network is just a money laundering operation. That's true. He does have a company called Just Do It Incorporated, and Eric Zane and I are happy to be a part of it. Hamilton Burger, $2 Canadian. If a CEO's home burns, will the fires be heroes? Great question. I think it depends. If it's a sexy looking fire like Luigi.
That one coming in from America's 51st state.
By this time next week, Hilton Man, praying no kids under 10 were harmed in fires. No, Hilton Man, it was mostly 12-year-olds, so I think we should be okay. So someone who's not particularly popular right now, that guy who just shared his theory, he's a hero. But without a doubt, most Angelenos would prefer to take a call from Diddy or Harvey Weinstein than Mayor Karen Bass. That is their mayor, and I stress their mayor, because I live in a city called Burbank. I'm not involved in their politics. I never get a choice in voting for someone like Karen Bass. You can decide whether or not that would be my cup of tea, but I'm not allowed to vote. So here's some people just kind of standing in the street, letting their thoughts be known.
The lady that cut the funding from the fucking fire hydrants.
Karen Bass. Fuck her.
Fire her.
They have no water.
They actually have no water?
No, I actually asked him, this guy right here. I said, how do you have no water? He said, we have no water.
Oh my God.
So this woman standing in the street, there's a whole fire crew there with a truck. And according to this eyewitness news, there's no water to put out the fires there.
Okay, that's a problem. I mean, you can't. Yeah. The fact that they would drive all the way there and hit the thing on the hydrant, and then the goddamn hose is limp like my dick most times.
Like most times. Look,
yes.
Just like if you take a vacation in Thailand and you have a reasonable expectation that a prostitute will have the equipment that you're looking for, and you reach down and there's no fire hose,
right?
You have a right to have a complaint. So these firefighters had the expectation that when they hooked up a hose to a fire hydrant, there would be water in it. And unfortunately, it seems specifically in the Pacific Palisades fire that was not the case. So for this, Vin the Evil Lawyer for $2. What does 89 next to watching now mean? I don't know. We got 96 watching, loser.
That means it's 5 times as many as what I normally get on my own show.
Look at Eric Zane. Oh, he's got 31 viewers. He's a fucking idiot. So in any case, we want to shout out Northern Ireland journalist David Blevins, who was on a flight back from Ghana and realized on his flight back to Los Angeles was Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. And there are different levels of heroes, but I would say David Blevins is a hero as he corners Karen Bass. This is probably the clip that you were talking about, EZ. He's got a series of questions for her, and I'm sure, look, she's on like a 12-hour flight. She got plenty of time to come up with all the answers to all the hard questions.
Owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor?
And for our audio audience, she's not looking at him.
No.
She's looking down at the ground at a different angle entirely.
Yeah, and they're in that area when you step off the plane and the jetway is there and you're waiting for the guys to bring your fucking checked bag. And it's always awkward. And this guy is just giving it to her.
Yeah, she probably had a courtesy check of a carry-on bag, and she has to wait for it.
With that haircut, I was waiting for her to look at him and say, "What you talking about, David?"
Yes, I think that's not far off.
Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Now I have to look, I'm giving this guy all the credit in the world already, but you mentioned somebody like Elon Musk because it's very hard for somebody like Karen Bass to not comment. And she's not taking the bait.
She's horrible.
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
Why can't you tell them to fuck off? Anything.
Yeah. Look, here's just an idea. All right. So maybe you took a nap on the flight and you didn't prepare your answers. There's a very simple way out of this. I'm going to have an official statement. I'm going to do a press conference at 4:00, whatever. I'll answer everything then. You could say something like
anything.
He's still going to ask the questions,
but just be there looking like a bitch, just quiet, like a little mouse.
And she's, I guess, thinking like, oh, he's not going to get any sound bites out of this. But the absence of sound is a sound bite in and of itself.
No apology for them?
She's looking outside.
How embarrassing. She's like, give me that fucking bag so I can get out of here.
She wants to be this guy in the flannel shirt outside. She's like, I just wish I could trade places with him right now.
Have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding?
It's probably not the time to go to Ghana, if I had to guess.
He's like,
that guy's telling her, all right,
meet me over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. And the lady who's treating her skin cancer there, I think. They're going down this very narrow jetway. A lot of people in there. A lot of people doing important business. Everybody's checking their phones. I think I'm away now.
Have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
Now, he can't go out there. That's probably like the VIP, politician. But
just
it's
a
locked.
few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
So excellent. God, is that great.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So a gentleman named Rick Caruso ran against her for the mayoral election. And something tells me Rick Caruso is going to run again. And his ad is just going to be that. And he's just going to slap his logo at the end. And that's probably all he needs. Why is this Irishman attacking Gizmo from Gremlins? Look, Gizmo has a lot of questions to answer.
I have a question. Was she in Ghana when they began, or did they start and she said, see ya?
No. And the thing that, the point that some people are saying is a lot different than a hurricane where like a week out.
Right,
now,
right. I mean, I think she's an idiot, but I don't think her being in Ghana, she didn't bail when the fire started, you idiots. She got there and she's like, oh, I love Ghana. Someone bring me a coconut. And then the fire started. Yeah. So that's ridiculous to compare her to Ted Cruz. I want to kick her ass too. Yeah, and anybody who has this take about it, you're stupid. Read a goddamn book.
Well, now that's crazy talk. Don't embarrass our audience. They don't know how to read. Come on. But she did say when she was elected that she wasn't going to travel internationally, that she was going to stay. And apparently she went to Paris 3 times last year. And there's some other trips. So our buddy Hackride keeps tabs on those sort of facts. So you can follow him at @Hackride if you want to know. I believe that is Hackride's mayor. Yeah. So she is the mayor of hell. apparently. So look, all right. So yes, she took a trip. She does come back. She did leave. There were wind advisories, but like I said last week, we didn't know what wind advisories were going to turn into. 100-mile-per-hour winds are a little concerning, but all right, go to Ghana. Seems like a good time. And you know what, Eric? Everybody can have a bad day. Maybe she was just caught off guard. She was out of her element. Once she was back at City Hall on the job, I'm sure she was able to help out the citizenry.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how...
It can all be found at URL. Yes. So the document she was handed had a URL on it. Perhaps it was a teleprompter, but no one filled in the URL. Now that's, I'm going to say that's like, 80% on her, 20% on the staffer. Like she didn't have to read URL.
No, she didn't. And she could have, because she had to have recognized, just the same way you and I recognized that there was no URL. That's at the point when she says, God damn it. Yeah, we're in the middle of a catastrophe and I can't even get the URL, you dumb motherfuckers. She needs to do that.
Or she says, Hank next to me. He's going to give you that URL when I'm finished. So she makes him look it up on his phone. Again, pass the buck to other people. Now, I have seen and heard this clip other places. There's a little nugget of gold after she says URL.
Angeles, together is how we will get through this. Through the heroism of our firefighters.
I'm sorry, the what of our firefighters?
Yeah, does that work? That's
no,
not a word, right?
This is definitely not a word. Maybe
through the heroism of our firefighters.
Yeah, that felt weird when I heard it. It could have been heroics or the heroes.
Heroism is the word she wanted.
Heroism?
Yeah, I believe
that would work.
Yeah, heroism would definitely work.
What did she say again? Heroicism?
Heroicism. Yeah. So that's like, I guess, if you're a hero but you're a cynic. It's heroicism.
You see, when you are have the spotlight on you from all the stupid shit you've done in the past, when you say dumb shit like heroicism, then it's compounded that much more. She might as well have, killed somebody.
There's still time. The term's not over yet. Look, all right, so that's a press conference, but she has a prepared message, and I'm sure that she's going to be able to inspire. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, is going to inspire everybody who voted for her, or even if they didn't vote for her.
Stand strong.
Okay,
and then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city, one of the greatest cities in the world.
I'm going to...
What are you smiling about?
Going to put a pin in that. One of the greatest cities in the world. Look, I've lived here 20 years. This isn't the greatest city in the world, but I'm not the mayor. You're supposed to say this is the greatest city in the world or even the strongest city in the world. We shall overcome.
Yeah.
Instead, we're definitely a top 10 city.
Right.
We're, Cleveland might be a little bit better than us, but
she's got to show like a one of those bracelets. And she's got to say LA Strong. Go to lastrong.com and get one of these. And it supports fire relief, but it really doesn't.
Well, to be fair, she wouldn't say go to lastrong.com. She would say go to URL.
Right. Go to URL, we would LA, whatever.
Look it up. She's very unpopular. People are not mincing words. Here is the owner of the Los Angeles Times on a stream about a completely different topic, wanting to make sure he went on record with this.
Oh, we'll accept some blame, right? So at the LA Times, we endorse Karen Bass. I think right now in front, that's a mistake.
Is that Zayas from Planet of the Apes?
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. His hair is very distracting. I feel like it's not. If I had to guess, it's a rug.
Who is this mutant?
Well, he's the guy who owns the LA Times.
I know that, but I mean,
but would not let them endorse Kamala Harris back in November, and so a lot of people have resigned. So he's definitely a little gun shy when it comes to endorsements. And again, this was about health. He ends up talking about RFK Jr., but he starts off and he's like, by the way, that Karen Bass endorsement are bad. We really should not.
Wow,
that.
That's rare. That's very rare.
Yeah. So for those of us that live in the area, we should be happy to that we can rely on the fact that this is the second largest city in the country, that the infrastructure is so great, and everything is under control or attempting to be in control. Of course, instead of that, everyone in the area got text Thursday afternoon telling everyone in the entire city they needed to evacuate. Wow. All of us were told we had to evacuate. But don't worry, they corrected that text 40 minutes later. So you had to use those 40 minutes to go like, I'm going to fact check that and see if that's accurate. And then we got another text at 4 a.m. that night that said we needed to evacuate. And they never rescinded that one. So I think we're still supposed to have left.
Now, in the Christian Blatt household, do you stay laughy and cheery like I always know you? Or are you running around, are you losing it?
Because we have the kids, you always have to be a little bit of stone-faced and, like, hey, things are serious, but everything's okay. It would be like the dogs in that video that you think is fake. Like, no, everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
All
yeah. Right. But like I said, we did take it seriously enough that we packed up a bunch of stuff. And we do have some irreplaceable items in a box, including my Hackamania shirt from Tukey.
Yeah,
I want to make it because I would not be able to replace that. Although possibly at Hackamania 2, back to the hack. Go to hackamania.com, promo code WATP to save 10%. You're welcome, Carl.
Is Mrs. Blatt running around like that Asian kid after the Agent Orange attack, nude throughout the house?
She has a robe on, but that's fairly accurate. That's not. Jesus Christ. Yes, pretty much. When we get that text in the middle of the night, Rumple Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. Emergency life-saving information is available at http. Thank you, Rumple Trenchcoat. Columbo podcast. We appreciate that contribution. They did a press conference where they addressed the text messaging and that the system might be faulty. You tell me if you can pay any attention to what they're saying. There's something very distracting happening.
In coordination with our federal and state partners, how we can stop the messages that are going out right now that are not being initiated by a human action.
And you hear one of the alerts go off during it, but I can't pay any attention to what this guy's saying because Eric Andre is over there on the right side of your screen doing a bit. Clearly, he's doing the Eric Andre show live from a press briefing.
I thought it was fucking Cypress Hill guy singing Insane in the Membrane or fucking Eric LaSalle from Coming to America.
Eric LaSalle.
And then understand how that occurred.
Ever since
got your soul glue.
That boy's good and terrible. Ever since we had the American Sign Language interpreter that we found out was fake, I don't believe any of them. No. This guy just made the fucking symbol with his finger.
Human action.
Human action, which I think he's going to say. Yes.
And then understand how that occurred.
He's making faces. I don't think this guy's legit. I hate to call someone out when they're on the job, but
even if it's real, it's bullshit. The Wired says Kumi's kid. He does look like young Anthony.
He does have Kumia hair, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. Kumi is 90s hair. It was a different time. All right. So look, at the local level, everybody's incompetent. Let's try to get some help at the state level. This woman spotted California Governor Gavin Newsom, and she chases him down.
Second, Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president?
So, in the same breath where the same smoke-addled, particulate-filled breath, you say you're on the phone with the president right now. Oh, can you put him on speakerphone? Well, okay, I don't have any service here, so I don't actually have the president on.
So bad.
This lady does not give up, though, so kudos to her.
They're not taking your call.
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. and it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help young.
What I love about this,
Such a lie.
this Gavin Newsom is that he sounds like our buddy Blind Mike's impression of Alec Baldwin when he's like, yeah, there was some great memories there, and sorry,
I kind of
killed a
want him
woman.
to tell her to fuck off. Honestly.
I mean, that he's trying to without actually saying it.
Yeah.
Devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing a school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes.
Why is
they
she
lost
dressed like a
homes because
Jedi?
they were living-
Well, she's trying to just use the Force to convince him that these are not the droids he's looking for.
What a terrible state to have to govern with a bunch of stupid, twisted weirdos just like who just can't fucking fathom actually anything that's real in the world.
Well,
Jesus
just like Karen Bass, he could have been caught off guard. Let's see what he has to say when he's talking to NBC News.
They're completely full of the state reservoirs here.
Okay, so I'm going to replay the beginning of that clip because everybody heard it, but he says the reservoirs are full, the state reservoirs here.
The reservoirs are completely full of the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation to understand what was happening with that.
Yeah, that's he does have a real Fred Savage vibe. But yeah, so he's like, well, like eerily so. Yeah, so he's like, well, that one reservoir, the one with the with all the fires around it. That reservoir was
definitely.
What do you call it? What do you call it? Empty,
dry.
Do you think that was a problem? And so he explains, well, those are the state, those are the local reservoirs. He's like, look, the state reservoirs are completely full, So he's like, look, we're doing our part. I've got a one quick thing from Gavin Newsom. I want you to give me your commentary on what you think about his presentation here. Oh, no, sorry. This is not the one that I wanted. I forgot. That's basically he's talking, he says like, oh, I'm not that concerned about fish. And there's a video that's a little long where he talks about a few years ago that he's very concerned about fish. But the one that I actually want is not that one either.
For God's
I
sake.
know I was everything was so
You were
good.
doing so good, and now you're a huge pile of shit.
I was just talking to Josh Green.
All right, so I want you to react to the way he handles himself here.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
So a lot of people have been posting that because he's very twitchy and almost giddy about land management. My thought is that that's his audition reel for Back to the Future Part 4. But do you feel like you can trust a guy who moves that much?
No, and I think one of the things that rubs me the most the wrong way is he's doing that type of talk like that, and he's got this kind of vocal fry thing going, and I don't trust anybody that does that who's afraid to project their fucking voice. He bugs me. This guy is a fucking dork.
Yeah, and there were definitely a lot of people who thought that this is the guy they should have replaced Biden with, and locally everybody was like, "Oh no, that's not a good idea." He would look all right on the posters and stuff, but so. All right. Politicians are apparently worthless, especially these California Democrats. Let's get to the people on the ground. I want to share with everybody Los Angeles Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, but people probably don't know that much about her. So I want to get some very reliable sources, starting with James Woods, who was telling Laura Ingraham about her.
And our new fire chief, has, and by the way, LA Fire Department is fantastic. The people, it's like the people who work for the federal government, so many of us are good people, but the people in charge, she took over and she put on her bio that her priority, my highest priority, is inclusion, diversity, and equity.
So put a pin in that for a second because Megyn Kelly wants to give us more background on her.
Okay.
Gives a shit if the fire chief is gay. I'm sorry, but who gives a flying fig about who she likes to sleep with? Can you fight the fucking fires, madam? That's the relevant question. We don't care about your lady parts, and we don't care who you want having access to them.
To be fair, if she looked differently, I would care a little bit, but Megan's not wrong here. That
my God.
they're putting the focus on the wrong things.
I would eat the peanuts out of her shit. I just want you to know that right now.
You don't mean the fire chief. You mean Megan.
No,
Kelly.
I mean Megan.
Yeah. So her name is Kristen Crowley. And obviously, you need to put the blame on the people that are in charge of putting out the fires, not the firefighters on the ground, but the people who manage the organization. And I will give a very minor tip of the cap to Kristen Crowley here because she immediately passes the buck. Well, actually, this reporter has to be a little persistent before she passes the buck.
My job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job. And I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
Okay. I want that chief to show us her cock because you know it's big.
Well, and unlike some people on the screen, hers probably works. So I do like just the simple statement of fact. It's like, so they failed you. And she's like, yep.
Chief Kristen Crowley, I believe the anchors wanted to ask a question. Endo, one of our anchors, wants to know if the department is advised that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was going to be emptied. Were you aware that there was no water there?
No, we weren't aware of that.
So, okay. So on the one hand, someone should tell the fire chief that there's no water in the reservoir up in the hills where all these, billion-dollar homes are. But also somebody probably should check and keep tabs and be like, that reservoir's got water in it, right? So she's passing the buck, but she expected to be fired after this. She has still not been fired.
Okay.
So
I think the water might be in this reporter's nose. Good God, look at that thing.
Look, I got nothing to say to that. There's no way I can top that. So listen, there's a famous quote from Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, that in times of tragedy, what we all need to do is look to the helpers. But what if, like in this case, the helpers are actually not doing anything to successfully help us? And again, I'm not talking about the firefighters, but their boss, doesn't make sure that they have water. So helpers aren't helping us. So this is Los Angeles. So we need to turn to the most trusted members of our community, our biggest commodity, Hollywood. Now, a moment ago, we saw James Woods, and he's been known for playing a tough guy. I bet he has the answers.
I posted this on X, but Sarah was on with her 8-year-old niece last night. She came out.
Oh, James.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just,
James.
One day you're swimming in the pool, and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank.
Looks like retarded Jamie Lee Curtis. Good God.
It's a drop I could use again. So he's here's the thing. If what they say about James Woods is true, he can cry as much as he wants, and he'll still be able to pull in any level of tale that he's interested in. He is apparently hung like the LA fire chief. What does KON say there?
It says Mr. Rogers had 145 confirmed kills in Nam, and that's a fucking fact.
I wish that was true.
It is true, asshole.
Okay,
everybody
sure.
knows that.
Everybody knows that, yeah. And yes, he really does look like him. All right. So James Woods was a little emotional because, I don't know, his niece or, I don't know, step niece. I couldn't figure out who the kid was in that story. Had a piggy bank. So
it's fictitious. It's a lie.
Well, there's that too. Let's go to funny man Jay Leno. Anderson Cooper caught up with him. I'm sure Jay's ready to make us laugh.
It's unbelievable. It's the biggest natural disaster. Not that 9/11 was a natural disaster, but it's literally on that scale. I mean, it's 10,000 buildings.
What a crock of shit crack that was.
It's like 150 people, which tragic, but
that's not like 9/11, you dick.
Unless the terrorists set the fires in the hills, which could have been that video we saw earlier.
I mean, you can't even, if you drove all day, you couldn't see 10,000 buildings.
Challenge accepted, Jay.
I mean, you get on that hill and you look for miles, and there's nothing. It looks like Hiroshima or just some horrible thing. It's
millions of people died.
It looked like your face after you caught it on fire, you idiot.
Or remember when he fell down that hill.
He should just be thankful that he's not on camera to discuss a recent injury.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the deal. Like, listen, we're not going to focus on your suspicious injuries, but you have to show up whenever Anderson's in town.
It's an entire city wiped out. I mean, Pacific Palisades, it doesn't exist and probably won't exist the next 5-6 years. Probably. I don't know how you rebuild through this.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, come on, Jay.
Give me a fucking break, Jay.
So look, Jay was asked to appear and he said yes. But even when celebrities are not looking to speak publicly, they are chased down by reporters demanding a comment, which thank God, because Easy, I do remember when you and I were talking last week, you wanted me to make sure of two things. Is Dennis Quaid okay? And what does he have to say about this?
Want to check. Can you see out the back window? Because I don't want to have to work. Oh, my. Well, wait a second.
So his car is filled up with all of his belongings as he's driving away from his home, which is under threat of fire. Yes.
And this is the guy who was in that movie where he was a pitcher, right?
Yeah. He recently played Reagan in a film about Reagan.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
How about that? Can I just say, excuse me, we have not met the star of the show. So can you guys stay with me? I'm my photographer, Susan Monroe, dog lover. Okay.
What the fuck? Dog's got a cataract, by the way.
Oh, that's sad, but you know, he can afford the laser eye center. The fact is that Dennis Quaid doesn't have enough of a pop, but there's a dog here. Yeah, so he wants to drive away and evacuate, but he's like, let me talk to Channel 4.
Dennis, you didn't mention the star here.
This isn't the goddamn red carpet. I don't understand. Oh yeah, let's get some cheeky questions. You guys trying to fucking get out of town.
Mr. Quaid, who are you wearing as you evacuate Wildfire that is ravaging Pacific Palisades?
This is my star. This is Peaches.
Hi, Peaches.
Peaches is safe? Yeah, Peaches is safe, right?
Well, Peaches is going to be blind in a year, right, Easy?
For sure, and Peaches is left.
Peaches,
for sure.
Keep an eye out, please, because I'm not sure he's going to be able to see out the back window.
Turn your windshield wipers on because your car is covered with ash. It looks like a snowy day, and this is not Montana.
Yeah. Okay.
He's making jokes? I mean, what is this interaction? God. Oh my gosh. Frost show with is that 20 euros?
I don't know what that is.
New year, new me, I'm gay. Well, that sounds like that's going to be my sign off, which is funny because when I signed off on the Eric Zane show, I said that for free.
Right. Carl, can you tell me what type of currency this is?
It looks like a euro, but somebody in the chat will tell us.
I don't think it is. I think it's a Lempira from Honduras.
Oh, Honduras. So that area that we were talking about with Mr. Quaid, which, honestly, I really want to know what Randy Quaid thinks about all this, but he's a little hard to track down right now up in Canada. So Supermarket, which is HEB. That's how you pronounce that supermarket chain, right? I know
Supermarket, right? Jay Leno on the fire. Folks, did you hear about these fires? I haven't seen that many Jews burned out of their homes since the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Do you notice how Easy tackled me so that he could read that one? Thank you, by the way. I appreciate the fact that you read that. I love that was a picture of Ray DeVito.
You fucking asshole.
So the biggest fire that most people have seen is the one in Pacific Palisades, and our visual audience is seeing what it was like as people, as they were trying to evacuate, just left their cars down at the bottom of the hill because they couldn't drive and they were worried about the fire. So they had to come through with bulldozers and literally just plow through them and, squish the cars.
Good.
And, they were able, we need the emergency vehicles to get to the top of that hill. We don't give a shit about that.
No.
And, that's an unfortunate turn of events, but if only We had a knight in shining armor who was willing to help everyone move their cars and also had a valuable message about that. Wait, what do we see here? Could it be Mahoney from Police Academy?
But I wonder if I could just make, here on Palisades Drive, if anybody has a car and they leave the keys in the car so that we can move your car so that these fire trucks can get up Palisades Drive. Yeah. What's happening is people take their keys with them as if they're in a parking lot. This is not a parking lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve, for pointing that out.
So he's suggesting if you stop and leave your car, leave the keys in it. Yeah. Also, he's standing in front of a clearly wide open road when he does this.
Yes.
There is no gridlock. This is the least gridlock there is in the entire city.
It's going the other way, I think, because let's see how long this reporter is willing to entertain him.
We really need people to move their cars. So if you leave your car in Palisades Drive, leave the key in there so a guy like me can move your cars and get them up there so that
open mic
so that these fire trucks can get up there. It's really, really important.
Thank you for talking to us live, sir. What's your name?
My name is Steve Gutenberg.
Steve, do you live in this area?
I live in the area. Yeah, I live right up the hill.
He has no idea.
Thank goodness everybody. But I have friends up there right
this
now.
This guy
and they can't evacuate because
has literally no idea. And you can see right now, this very second on screen for our visual audience, he has a finger in his ear. So he's getting a key piece of information.
Right.
And you're an actor.
Yeah, I'm an actor.
Okay.
Yes, the newsroom is saying this is a loser actor who's been in nothing but shit movies.
Whoa! 3 Men and a Baby, Short Circuit.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about 3 Men and a Little Lady. We'll just talk about the first one.
This guy is a loser actor. That's what they're saying. So then he just said, you're an actor.
Yeah, he's very proud of it. But 2 of the Police Academy movies were good.
You look familiar to me now.
Yeah.
So,
that's a lie.
You have family up there. I was just talking to that gentleman. He has a mom who's stuck up in the hills.
Yeah, there are people stuck up there. So we're trying to clear Palisade Drive, and I'm walking up there as far as I can.
So he's basically stealing cars. I think DMX went to jail for that.
Yeah, and it should be pointed out that the picture he's painting is not at all like reality, because he's like, oh my God, there's people trapped. He's implying that it's like burning them to death and they could easily just walk out, which at that point, a lot of people were walking out of their residences to move to a safe space. He's like, well, they can't drive out. Well, no shit, they can't drive out, asshole.
There are some elderly people who perished, but Eric, I mean, how many years did you think that they had left anyway? You know,
honestly, you know, whatever. It's still not 9/11. This is not 9/11.
All right, so you're calling Leno out on that. All right.
This is a small fire. It's not even a big fire, and you know, a couple homes burned that don't matter, and some old people died. Who gives a shit? Whatever.
An entire city. Hey. Billy Crystal and Martin Short's houses are gone. You know, we should care about those things. They both had that one great season of Saturday Night Live.
Are there any actors in Palisades, whatever, that aren't like shit who actually have done something new?
Martin Short has Always Murders in the Building. That's
whatever.
A very popular show right now.
That's bullshit.
But let's get back to superstar Steve Gutenberg, who is always prepared for his close-up. He knows that everything could go viral.
Traffic this slow.
Well, of course, you know,
he immediately takes his mask off to answer the question
right now, and it's really important for people to help each other. It's really important for everybody to band together.
My question to you is, how long do you think it was after this that Tarantino called him and said, I need you in my last movie, my final film? I'm going to do for you what I did for Travolta.
And the movie is called Repeat the Same Shit Over and Over Again. You're going to play Steve Gutenberg, because that's all he does in this clip. You got to leave your keys in your car. So if you're driving anywhere, watching this on TV, which I know doesn't make sense, can you park your car and leave the keys in, please, so I can move your car?
That's a solid Gutenberg with a little bit of Mr. Mackey. Drugs are bad, okay? So... yes. If people want to watch that whole interaction, it's like 4.5 minutes. And I took the greatest hits out of it. So look, a moment ago, we heard from Jay Leno, but we do have a late night host who still does their show from LA. Easy. Should we expect Jimmy Kimmel to burst through the curtain, ready to distract audiences for 60 minutes with his usual brand of mirth? those viral videos of celebrities reading mean tweets, making fun of them, parents telling their children the day after Halloween that they threw away their Halloween candy. Jimmy is going to be equipped with something, right?
Huge distraction, and we need that after this national tragedy.
We do.
You know, it has been a very scary, very stressful, very strange week here in LA, where we work, where we live, where our kids go to school. We are back in our studio, which we had to evacuate on Wednesday. This is that's our building right there, the El Capitan. That is how close this fire was to our theater here. Many of us had to leave our homes in a hurry. Some of our coworkers lost their homes.
Okay, Jimmy.
That's Hollywood. It's
by the way, there's a sign that says Hollywood right there. But thank you, Jimmy.
It's just been terrible. It's been
This fire
terrible.
is the best thing that's ever happened to Hollywood. These people needed to toughen up.
I'm not going to endorse that statement, but I believe in a free country. Eric Zane is allowed to say whatever he thinks.
This is a great thing that happened, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm glad. I think there are a lot of people in the audience who are glad that you're here with me without me navigating this solo. But I would tell you that I do know some people who lost their homes, and I would not be. No, I'm not handling it the way Kimmel did.
That is unfortunate.
That's Hollywood.
Yeah, sure is, brother.
It's been terrible. It's been a terrible. Everyone who lives in this city knows someone. Most of us, multiple people.
That's fair.
Families, friends, colleagues, neighbors whose houses burned down. And the truth is, we don't even know if it's over. We had 100-mile-per-hour winds fueling this nightmare. As of tonight.
What is he giving a news report here? Oh, yeah. It's currently 3 miles wide, and the barometric pressure.
This is for people who didn't turn on their TV all week, Eric.
The winds are back. And I think I speak for all of us when I say it has been sickening, shocking, awful experience, but has also been, in a lot of ways, a beautiful experience because once again, we see our fellow men and women coming together to support each other. People who lost their own homes were out volunteering in parking lots, helping others who lost theirs. And tonight, I don't want to get into all the vile and irresponsible and stupid things our alleged future president and his gaggle of scumbags chose to say during our dark.
Tell me you didn't write a monologue without telling me you didn't write a monologue. Okay, today I'm going to go out there and be sad.
No, it's actually on the rundown. Like, this is one of the days that Jimmy needs to cry. All right, well, we'll let
be
him.
sad today.
The most terrifying hour. The fact that they chose to attack our firefighters, who apparently aren't white enough to be out there risking their lives on our behalf, it's disgusting, but it's not surprising. Instead, I want to focus on thanking those men and women.
Oh my God, Jimmy going out on a ledge and thanking the firefighters.
No, don't thank them. They didn't do shit either. They just stood around and looked at it.
Well, they were ready to help because there just wasn't enough water, I think was it. Rumbled Trench Coat, a Columbo podcast. This just in, I understand you had an uncredited speaking role in the movie Roller Coaster. Please don't leave keys in your car. Thank you, Rumbled Trench Coat. So Jimmy wasn't able to cheer people up, and Hamilton Burger, Jimmy Kimmel was funnier than usual. I messaged our buddy Blind Mike because I know he's doing an episode of Why Are You Laughing? And I believe the title is What Happened to Jimmy Kimmel, or possibly The Rise and Fall of Jimmy Kimmel. And I said, I hope you haven't recorded it yet because you need to include this in the video. Stoneman623, let's blame Trump for the Democratic governor, Democratic mayor, and Democratic city council. Yeah. Stoneman, you're ready to move here. You get it. Get it.
That's a great crack. I mean, that's the equivalent of going scoreboard. I mean, what the fuck?
So I don't usually like to play the exact same video that you would have already seen on one of the other shows on this network. This was on Who Are These Socials? But Eric, you need to see the video that comedian Whitney Cummings decided to film as she received an evacuation order, and the fact that she thought that this was important to share, where maybe her priorities are. So let's take a look at Whitney.
So I am evacuating my home. And it's so hard to leave the podcast studio behind. I know that's like sounds insane, but I have everything, you know.
So yes, Whitney, that does sound insane.
Leave the podcast studio? That's what she's broken up about? Leaving the podcast studio? Oh, God damn it, man.
Eric, if your house burned down, I think that's the one room you'd be like, oh, thank God, insurance is going to help me get a new door in my new studio. Chad's missing upper lip. She's worried all her plastic surgery is going to melt. Well, those I don't think that those ducts are built for tears.
Like my son's birth certificate.
Yes, yes, important things. But what about the podcast studio?
This, like, you know, podcast studio is such a big deal to me because like it connected me to so many of you guys. And just to give you an idea, like this is the podcast studio, and then I don't know if you can see.
Yeah,
there's no fire now. Eventually, it did actually burn down, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
God.
Yeah, and there's smoke there in the hills, and it's
Way too many podcasts. Way too many podcasts. We need 99% of them to burn to the ground. That's what we need.
No one's home should burn down. But if a couple of podcast studios just had an electrical short, and it's like, yeah, we can't rewire it. You know what? Tom Segura is going to need to take a couple months off.
Right.
Bert Kreischer is going to have to, keep taking his shirt off on stage. We'd be okay.
Finally. This is a way for the Mud Shark to rise in the charts.
This would be great for the Mud Shark.
He's going to fucking skyrocket now that all these great shows have been destroyed.
He doesn't have to compete with Whitney. By the way, she referenced she has a fairly young son, and she's showing how close the fire is to her podcast studio. Not here's the baby's nursery, and look how close the fire could be coming if we don't leave. No. The place where I interviewed the Hawk Tua girl is probably going to burn down, and that is really tragic. I do believe that Whitney has taken down that video, probably because it was on Who Are These Socials. I think she didn't want that. But don't worry, she at least understood. By the way, Chad's missing upper lip. Credit cards melt in fire. Chad is out of luck. Not a bad point. Whitney is aware that the way that video was received, because she's back a few days later with some breaking news.
This is a real text that I just received from a friend of mine about the fires. I'm not going to cry because I got torn apart for my last TikTok video where I cried about my house maybe burning down. I'll spare you. She's on a plane, and I said, do you want me to go to your house and get stuff out? Like things that you can't replace. I'll go right now, even though the area is evacuated. She wrote back, you can't get in. Topanga's barricaded. The back way we use is being guarded by fire trucks now because some of the neighbors caught a guy setting more fires on the back of our hill. They chased him away. They called 911. I think they caught the guy recently in Woodland Hills trying to put gasoline in sewers.
Okay, so just for 1 second, if this is true, why are you texting Whitney Cummings and not calling the police or the fire department or the FBI or the Space Force? Space Force is going to be back next week too. They could probably help.
It's like she has too little face and too much hair.
All right. Well, now I got to put her back on the screen.
Something about her. Something's wrong with that.
Yes.
I think she gave part of her face to that guy from the LA Times.
Yeah. And he stole some of her hair with it because the scalp goes a little further than she probably wanted it to. But who knew when we were looking at Whitney Cummings on New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen last week that she'd be crying about leaving her house.
Right.
Well, at least Whitney is a local, and she did have some loss. I don't know that she needed to cry about it on TikTok. But what I like more than anything is the people who don't live here anymore and weren't even visiting at the time, trying to explain everything that happened.
This works. There was a fire catastrophe in California. Had to do with winds. You know how they're always saying, oh, the wind. It actually does. The winds move things and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have if 900,000 buildings go up at the same time.
What?
So the thing about that, I almost called her Whitney, Whoopi, is if you have a lot of water, you can put out, some of the 9,000 buildings. But if you have no water, yes. All 9,000 buildings do indeed burn down.
Now, having lived in California, having lost every house save for one that we ever lived in, I take great offense at pointing fingers. You should.
Well, I mean, you're trying to explain what happened.
Yeah,
and
she's mansplaining.
Yeah.
She's absolutely mansplaining. She's talking to us like we're retarded. And it's taken her forever to get to the goddamn point.
The one thing that I'll say is that if she lost 4 houses here, okay, it's smart that she left. Okay, now she doesn't live here anymore. All right, so if 4 houses burned down, that's probably the time to leave. So let's circle back to politicians for a moment. And I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but I'm just, as I was saying to EZ before we started, this really checks off all the boxes of the usual segments
absolutely.
that we
It's
do.
Who Are These Fires? I love it so much. We even had a song. Can you play the song again? Is there any way to play the Who Are These Fires song again?
Who are these fires? Who are these fires? Yo, this shit is lit. What I'm saying lit. Just like Public Enemy said in 1990. Burn Hollywood, burn.
That's awesome.
Thanks again, Doug. I was very
Is Doug
happy.
a black guy?
I do. He lives in Rochester, so I assume no.
He sounds like a black guy.
I don't think that's his voice. I believe
Oh,
that's
no?
AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, look, let's circle back to politicians for a moment. Let's see the level of comfort we're going to be getting at the national level. Let's start with the guy who, at this time next week, Dwyer Christian says that Doug gets an N pass. I don't even know what that means. Do you know what
I don't
that is?
either. That was a mistake.
Is that like an easy pass in New York?
No,
when
I
you can
didn't.
drive
I
through
didn't
the
mean to
tunnel?
put that up there. I don't.
Okay,
I don't
that's a
know what
mistake.
that's all about.
Okay. What? Okay. So here's a phone call with the guy who, at this time next week, will be president of these United States.
Vast miles and miles of houses just burned to a crisp. There's nothing standing.
Yeah,
They're going to find many bodies. You know, only the dogs will find them, right? You know, our German shepherds
Jesus
will.
Christ,
They
Donald.
can pick out the ashes immediately. It's amazing. But we're going to find many bodies and many more dead.
Newsom. No. This isn't helping. Yeah, we get it. We know what it's like when people are burned alive in their homes.
Yeah,
Mr. President-elect. That's you're not helping them. You're hurting them, as that drop on Jim Rome would say. All right. Well, at least he has his solutions. And Easy, you were one of several people who posed the question to me that didn't Trump have this all figured out? And I've seen the clip from Rogan. I remember seeing it when it happened. This is the guy who says he has it all figured out. Here's his explanation for the way that this should work.
Visited by the presidents of places like Finland and Austria and others, I talk about it because we used to have to give so much money, mostly to California for the fires. And they said, we have a much more flammable tree, very good wood, but very flammable in Austria.
Very good wood.
They said, we don't have forest fires. And they rake their floor. You know, they rake the leaves off I think twice every year. And they rake the leaves and they have it nice and spick and span. If you look at the trees,
he just Elon dared him to say spick on the national news. I think is probably why he used that
So
phrase.
his suggestion is their floor is clean.
Clean the floor.
All right.
Yes, to rake the leaves from the floor. Now, look, if you peel it back, what he's saying is something true, that they do controlled burns in certain areas. And one of the concerns for that is that it could be bad for the environment, but there's also plenty of ways to do it. He's not wrong, but he's saying clean the floors. Chad's missing upper lip. We have good wood, something Zane has never said.
No, I used to say it. I don't say it now. Asshole.
Can you star that comment? Because I want to read it again at the end of the show. That is not my sign off, but I love that comment so much from Chad's missing upper lip. All right. So look, Donald doesn't have the best bedside manner, but I will remind all Angelinos it could have been worse.
Critically important that to the extent you can find anything that gives you an ability to be patient in this extremely dangerous and unprecedented crisis, that you do.
Yeah.
The fuck? What's she saying?
I have no idea. There's
guy-
another 2 minutes, but
That's
I
that.
decided.
That's that whole vibe from when she was running. Remember all those interviews?
All those clips
Everybody's
that we
just like,
played where we're like, I don't know what she just
it's
said.
like,
Yes.
say something.
Even-
Yes, you're speaking, and yes, those are words. but can you please get to a fucking point?
Even Oprah couldn't prop up what she was saying when she was saying it. But look, Trump will be in the White House next week. But what about the guy who's there now?
Waiting until those fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770. One-time payment.
All right. Well, if my $1 billion home burned down, $770 is definitely going to fix everything.
I would not
because
have told that. I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, just let people get the $770 payments, and just Venmo it to everyone, and then Biden will ask them for a W-9 at the end of the year. So in any case, so he's got that. At the end of this, when he's done speaking, the reporters shout to try and ask him some questions, and I would play that, but I also have this clip from Biden, who a little bit earlier, he's able to do a briefing with Gavin Newsom where he really puts everything that is in perspective. He focuses on what's really important.
The good news is I'm a great-grandfather as of today. I was granddaughter.
Is that the time to announce that you're a great-grandfather, Easy?
Leave the room. Dude, come on. God, this cannot end soon enough.
And people are applauding because they feel like they have to. But then he's going to be all done.
Baby girl, baby boy.
Baby girl or baby boy. He's not sure which. All right.
He doesn't
and everyone
know?
in the room. No, he doesn't. Sorry.
Is this like Hunter's kid? Is it like illegitimate? Is it like born to some crack whore?
No. I think that the family that he's proud of had this kid. So this gets fairly loud, but this is what happens after every time he speaks. He stands there.
Thank you so much, everybody. You made your way out. Thank you, Brad. Thank you so much. You made your way out. You make your way in March.
It goes on. Dozens of questions asked at the same time. Just a very quick visual. We have to shout out Jack Osborne, Ozzy's kid, for being the one to shine the light on David Muir from ABC News Tonight, reporting on the scene from rubble. And he's wearing a fireman's coat. And yes, the fireman's coat is cinched in the back with clothespins because a fireman's coat doesn't look sexy enough.
Yeah.
So thank you to Jack Osborne. Of all the people that needed to show this to us. Yeah. So I don't have it, but the next night he's wearing a more ill-fitting one. So I think that they caught the note there. But, look, I got to say, it does look good on him. I mean, it's through no fault of his own. All right. Well, we want to try to end our fire coverage. Seeing's clothes pins his foreskin back. Thank you. Chad's missing upper lip. We want to end on some positive notes here as we move on from the fire talk. This is simultaneously uplifting, but also humiliating. And this is what I feel like it's like every time Eric comes home and greets his dogs. So this is a man who gets to go back to his home after he had to evacuate.
Okay.
And he was able to get one of his dogs, but he couldn't find the other one, but he had to leave. So now he's gone back, and thanks to the assistance of an NBC News reporter, which is relevant to the video.
It's Tika Tika.
So
It's Tika Tika.
So the dog he's holding is named Tika Tika. I forget the other dog's name. He'll say it. And so he's trying to call the dog down from the hill, which probably the last time the dog looked down the hill, there were fires everywhere. So he's like, I'm not going down that fucking hill.
It's Tika Tika. Hi, Boo Boo. How's the fire? Oh, honey. Oh.
Is that what you'd want to be asked if you just survived a fire, even if you were a dog?
Fire.
How's the fire?
Yeah, the dog's like, I wish you burned.
Yeah, I'd be much happier.
Fire. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Oh, my God. You're alive. You're alive. Oh, honey. Oh,
This is the part that reminded me of you.
You can take him back. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
So this lady's like, hey, you're scaring him. And he's like, oh, God damn it, my dog's alive.
Oh,
God,
wow. That is fucking unbelievable.
It's amazing in every way possible. And obviously, if we're doing this show, crisis actor auditioning for a job, I was unable to find current footage for everybody's favorite segment of this show. Jim Larison, it's like Opie with Doggy.
Doggy!
Oh, Doggy!
Doggy!
Doggy, you're here. Doggy, you're back. So I have something from an earlier fire that I think will fill our quota for everybody who hung in. They'll appreciate this.
WATB, who are these bears? Who are these bears?
So there's an organization called Bear Cub University here in California, and I'm sure they'll spring into action after this fire. But here they are handling a recent fire.
Cubs that survived this summer's raging wildfires now getting a second shot at life.
We have to keep them until at least next spring, maybe even into the summer, because they stay 18 to 24 months with their moms in the wild.
And now they don't have mama.
We're their moms, and they just have to grow up.
Orphan cubs with severe injuries. Some
like they haven't been through enough that now this broad is their mother.
Right. I want to see a video of her whipping out her tits and the bear suckling.
Yeah, I mean, she could probably, catch fish in her mouth, if I had to guess.
Even suffering burns all the way to the bone. And while they're 50 to 60 pounds now, they'll grow to up to 200 pounds.
Okay.
And that's where Bear Cub University comes in.
Bear Cub University is critically important because they need
What is
space,
it with all these women
and
in
they need
senior
large
position
structures to
looking
climb.
like dudes?
Yeah, it's California. I think.
Yeah,
I think
guess
you've answered.
that's
I think
a
you've
regular
answered
thing.
your own question.
Are there any attractive
muscles,
women
they
in
need to learn
positions of
how to-
authority in California?
No, I think they all moved to Arizona. If I had to guess, not entirely sure,
Sorry,
but
stepping
feel
all
like
over this.
no, it's all right. Look, I mean, I just wanted people to see the Bears. I
Yeah,
thought
well,
that,
I mean, that's the bright spot here.
yeah,
out of
I
all
mean,
of
it's
it.
the bright spot of any installment of
Right.
this show is always the Bears. We always want to know what the Bears are up to and how everybody's doing. How's the chat feeling? They've been
Chat
hanging in here.
loves Bear Cub University. Could you ever get a tour of Bear? That would be something that you and I, like next time I visit you, we could head over there for a tour with like a media credential.
Yeah,
and I think that might be that there's a place for that, frankly.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely a place for that. And, I don't see why they wouldn't let us head over to Bear Cub University. The real question is what could possibly go wrong, Eric, if we went over there. So obviously we did go through all of the celebrities that, not all, but we talked about some celebrities who were impacted by the fire. One person that I think it's important, it's a favorite here on the Who Are These Podcast Network. It is important to check in with Corey Feldman, who last week had this post. You'll notice some misspellings.
Yeah.
We have the worst arson, ARSEN, disaster the city has ever seen. And this is what Hollywood journalists want to write about, bashing me for a 3-year-old performance where I had a wardrobe malfunction. Hashtag shameless. Hashtag guilty parties. Hollywood star Corey Feldman has hit rock bottom. He actually did not have to put the headline in his post, but I'm glad that he did.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
And I think that honestly, the thing that I think everybody will appreciate is something that I'd love to be bringing people under better circumstances. But our buddy Corey Feldman was just recently on a show hosted by a couple of friends of mine, a show called $2 Late Fee that focuses on the VHS era of 80s and 90s movies. And Corey wanted everybody to know he's still got it. He's still got the great skills. His appearance looks a little different, but he's able to really use that to his advantage.
No, I've decided I'm actually going to go full Trump now. This is my thing. If you can't resist the resistance, then you might as well dive in. So I went ahead and got the Trump haircut, the Trump hair color. So from now on, ladies and gentlemen, I'm only talking like this, and you're only going to hear from me when it's going to be something really special.
Have you suffered enough, or do you think you want to hear more of Corey Feldman's Trump impression?
I'd love to hear him crying about his lost home, but he probably doesn't have one.
No, his home ended up being fine. And fun fact, I hope we have video for next week. He went to Florida and met with RFK Jr., but I don't have any video, just a still photo. So I'm monitoring that situation. But don't worry. He probably got the invite after this stellar Trump impression. I'm sorry. What were you going to say, Az?
It's just I hate to use a really used and abused word, but I've never seen him and not made this face. It's always like, ugh, God, what is happening there? This fucking goddamn, too many great people die and he's still living, and I don't like that.
He's still with us. Yes, exactly. And, we're hashtag black.
We're going to talk about my big projects. They've got to be the biggest. Got to be the biggest. So we're going to go with Going Viral. Going Viral is going to be the greatest project. We put a lot of incredible people together. You're going to be very pleased. The best people in the world. Great actors, great director, unbelievable performances. Really the best quality production you've ever seen, quite honestly. It's better than Star Wars.
Well, I got to tell you, you're not orange enough, Corey. You're not orange enough.
I'm working on my orange. In fact, I've got a big orange tree outside my house right now. And
these assholes enabling them.
So that's what I'm going to point out is Zach and Dustin are approaching this exactly the way that you have to when you're talking to somebody like Corey Feldman. If you want to actually complete the interview, you have to act like you believe he's just as great as he thinks he is. So you have to always affirm, always encourage. And look, I think they were legitimately excited to talk to the guy from Goonies and License to Drive and all that. But, you're not really talking to that guy. You're talking to Corey 2025. It's a little different. And Dwyer Christian says gay porn rejects him. So look, for people who have Corey in their life, I would assume that he would be very low on the list of people you would ask for advice. Corey has a point that is quite to the contrary.
So when are you doing life coaching lessons?
Never. Never. I mean, I do this for my friends. I've been the world's therapist for as long as I can remember.
You think that's accurate? Do you think that everybody's turning to Corey with their problems, Eric?
Exactly. No. And Corey Feldman sounds like his Trump impersonation. It's the same goddamn voice.
Everybody's saying that I'm helping them with their problems. A lot of problems. So many big problems. The best problems everywhere we go, Eric.
Yeah. Every girl I know, every guy, everybody calls me up like, Corey, I got a problem. What do I do about this? What do I do? And I give it out for free.
So he doesn't charge for his advice. Which, look, he's living his best life right now. But look, Corey's not on $2 late fee for his health. He's promoting a project called Going Viral. And if there's anything that Corey Feldman knows how to do, it's promote a project.
It's a great movie for the kids. It's a family film. It's a fun adventure. It's not an Academy Award winner. This is not on Golden Pond.
Jesus
Golden
Christ.
Pond.
Yeah, first of all, on Golden Pond.
Or Casablanca.
It took him a long time to come up with that second one. A really long time.
A couple of very pertinent recent Best Picture winners right there.
Yeah. No, it's not on Golden Pond, which everybody still talks about on Golden Pond.
When your most recent reference is on Golden Pond, I think you got to brush up on your Hollywood knowledge.
And your backup has Humphrey Bogart in it. So he's like, listen, it's a good movie. I mean, it's not great, but you'll watch it with your kids because they're stupid.
But, it is a fun family adventure movie that's got a great throwback for people who are from the 80s. I've seen a tremendous response to the trailer. Great trailer, by the way.
Yeah. He's doing Trump.
They did a really good job.
Yeah, I think he's actually really embracing. Trump.
He's talking with his hands and he's saying tremendous. Everybody knows that's a tremendous. I mean, Trump throws that in all the time. Oh, my God.
Here, Corey explains the film, and he uses a word that there are two ways to pronounce, but he doesn't use either of them.
An homage. It's an homage.
That word is not pronounced homage. It could, people do say homage, which I hate, but we allow it. homage is the preferred.
Right. And it's an homage
Totally.
to, those types of buddy movie, 80s films. And the two kids who star in it do a great job of being that, being that kind of two Corys chemistry of 80s buddy movies that everybody knows and loves.
I don't think anyone can capture the two Corys chemistry.
Oh, that's true.
Okay,
So,
I want to point out that
Yes.
the real heroes here are these two, whoever they are, who are
Zach and
really
Dustin.
trying to act interested in what this alien is saying. And they're like, yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
They are doing a lot of heavy lifting here.
Oh.
And Dustin, again, the show is called $2 Late Fee. I know these guys through a network where we all do shows called Geekscape. You can find the interview with Corey. It's only 20 minutes, and I was able to pull 10 clips. I'm not going to play all of them, but here's Dustin really leaning into what I said. Always affirm the genius of the person you're talking to,
right?
Especially if they're delusional.
You are objectively the best part of this movie. I'm not even blowing smoke. I kept saying, "Where is Corey?" And then you appeared. It was very, very, very welcome. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I just mean like, we knew you were in it. We were just like, where are
waiting
you?
for the pop-up. I mean, look, it's obviously I'm not the star of the film. It was I only came and did a couple days on it, but
there is no such thing as a legitimate Corey Feldman interview that's interesting. Okay. The only way that this is funny or good is if before they get him on, they know that he can't hear them and they say, this guy's a psychopath and we're going to be fucking with him. And then they proceed to suck his dick. That's the only way this is interesting.
It does hurt that he doesn't perform during this, but look, he's promoting the project. And the thing that you need to know about Corey, he's a consummate professional. He's been acting since he was 3. If he is part of a production, he's lasered in on every detail about it.
Little homage. You're wearing a T-shirt at one point. I won't give it away, but it is an homage to one of your other movies you've done.
Many T-shirts. Every T-shirt every time we see you, you've got a very good wink, wink shirt.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
You didn't.
He has no idea what he's wearing in this movie.
They think it's part of the whole thing, and he has no clue.
He's like, "Oh, really? No, I had.
I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, right. Exactly. So finally, we'll finish with Corey here. This one's actually just sad. They talk a lot about old video games. There's a couple old video games that he likes. And he was supposed to get something that would have embraced his love of video games. But in the beginning of his answer, you understand why he never got it.
Machines now, and I actually was supposed to get one 2 Christmases ago, or I think it was 2 Christmases or 2 birthdays ago, back when I was married. But my wife had been talking to this guy. They were planning on giving me this game that we met at one of the signing conventions that I did. And he made these video games, which were really nothing more than a nice shell that he built himself, that he would design for whoever. And it was a motherboard.
So he goes on and on and on, and he explains it how he didn't get it. Yeah,
finished, man. And bottom line is, we got everybody to put their money together. We had the money, and then it never came. So they ended up just buying me something else with the money, and it's very, very depressing. I never got that game. So I'll probably end up at the Neon Arcade if I can't get the game thing I really wanted.
I'm sure somebody will listen to this and connect, because I'm sure one of our listeners.
Things happen.
I am going to, once the fire danger is over, I will send Corey a bag of flaming dog shit. I will make sure to send that directly.
He always seems like he's holding his breath when he's talking and hanging on to his breath and then getting all these words in while he isn't actually breathing. And then he goes, shut up.
He's definitely, there's a lot of effort there. So look, we had fun with that interview with Corey, and we're trying to keep things on an up note. But I think it's important to note that I will follow it up with a bummer. My friend Dustin in that clip, he and his wife Erin and their 2 dogs did have to evacuate their home last Tuesday because of some very high winds. Because it was winds, they didn't think that they would never be back. And while they were out of their house, their home burned down. And they lost everything, including their voiceover studio, which is how they make their living. and they did not film a TikTok of it. If anybody has any kind of interest, I know that people in the Dabbleverse can be very generous. Dustin and his wife, Erin, did indeed lose everything in the Eaton fire because they were not prepared for their house. There's a simple URL, geekscapegives.com. If anybody is so inclined, people in the Dabbleverse can be very generous. I haven't ever really talked about it. I had a family member who's going through a really tough time last year. I never promoted it. People in the Dabbleverse found that, donated money, and I really appreciate people who do that. So if you enjoyed those Corey clips and you want to throw a few bucks to Dustin and Aaron,
looks like the GoFundMe kind of caught fire though. With
yeah, they have a goal of $110,000, and yes, they have raised a lot. So, if anybody's so inclined, they do a great show over there, and they gave me Corey clips, which honestly, it's very hard. I don't know what that one says. You might have to read that.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know who that's referring to.
I don't know anything that says.
Chad's missing upper lip says, what's her OnlyFans?
I don't even know what
JFK
that means.
Head Chunk says, can we just help her? Yeah. So if you give money, you can say this is specifically for Hot Chick.
For Aaron.
Yeah, for Aaron.
I was thinking of clipping this out, but now I probably won't. But thank you. Wait! Caught fire. You don't even know what you just said.
Of course, I know what I said, you asshole.
Of course you do.
You stupid fuck.
Now
what
listen.
What is wrong with you?
We only have a couple more minutes. There's a couple of really important things we have to get to. So listen, the Biden era is going to be over by the time we do our next show. We are going to do an inauguration special next Tuesday at our regular time. I'm literally going to pull no clips before Monday because I'm sure I'm going to get so many of the actual inauguration and the celebration. And, look, Eric, there might be a couple people upset. People who might be triggered by seeing Trump sworn in again on TV. We might get some of that. But
they shouldn't.
We saw Biden. I think it's time for him to, just shuffle off into the sunset. But there is something I'm going to miss, and that is the back and forth between Karine Paul-Pierre and Steve Doocy. This may be the final time they ever talk, and they're aware of that.
Hi.
Thank you, Karine. If I don't see you again in the briefing, thank you for always. You could have stopped taking the hard questions years ago, and you didn't. So we appreciate that.
Over 2 years, my friend. This is let's say one last dance, right? I don't know how I'm going to fill my dance card now. How will I fill that void without you?
You tell me. You tell me. So
start some rumors in here, I guess.
Yeah, they got a fuck.
Yeah, I do believe she's gay, but
she's hot too. I think she's cute as fuck.
Yeah, I in prison there's that saying "gay for the stay," but I think she's I don't know, straight for the wait or something. I think she might actually. I think that's what this has been building to, and this is why I needed to make sure I got this clip in here. Is we had to say goodbye to Corinne Jean-Pierre. I don't know what the fuck I called her before, but we don't need to remember her name. She'll be long gone.
Peter, Paul, and Mary. Paul Pierce.
And Rumple Trenchcoat does point out he's blushing. Somebody does mention the fact that he's actually blushing. And look, I hope they do. I hope it already happened. I think that the movie about these two is going to be amazing. And I think that make a baby with her. Anyway, we have so many things that we weren't able to get to today. There's a tremendous follow-up on some sports stories. We got time. The fires really dominated everything, but I wanted to make sure that we were able to say goodbye to both of them. And I know that we will probably have a couple more last gasps from Biden next week. I can't quit him, Eric. I can't quit Biden just yet.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I think that, I'm looking forward to the day when Trump gets inaugurated and doesn't he have binder day when he changes all the laws and shit? Executive order day.
That's the first day. Yeah. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. Corey Feldman will be able to do an impression for you. So
rightfully so.
Yeah. And by the way, Chad's missing upper lip earlier in the show. We have good wood, something Zane has never said. That is our show for this week. I appreciate everybody who hung in there. We do have more people watching than usual, Eric. And I think people were celebrating the fires the way you were. But also when word started passing throughout the Dabbleverse that we had Corey Feldman clips, all of a sudden people were interested.
It's a big deal.
If
Big deal.
people want to catch the interview that you did with me last week, or just the Eric Zane show in general, where do they go to do that?
You can go to one of two places. First of all, wherever you download podcasts for just audio, or I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app at Eric Zane Live, all one word. I go every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I should say 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Friday.
There are actually a couple super chats from earlier that we didn't get to. Vince, the evil lawyer. This show always this bad, or is this anomaly? Honestly, this was a really good one. This is so much better than usual. And then I believe that's a picture of Iso Do. Thank Carl for backing my wife who hid CP for 8 years. If you know former Shuli Network producer Iso Do, you know what that's in reference to. But I do think that those are the only ones that we did not get to. And I think the one of the suspicious currency is our big dollar amount winner.
It
Yeah.
is. That
So-
is a euro, someone said.
Yeah. So everybody should go to whoarethese.com, find our phone number, and leave us a voicemail. Again, you can get your tickets for Hackamania, hackamania.com. My personal podcast, The Blackcast, BLADTCAST. And of course, the show that brings me actual income, 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal, wherever podcasts are found, hosted by Metal Blade Records CEO Brian Slagle. This week, we had the great Jim Florentine on. Talking about Motorhead's Ace of Spades. Should you embrace that dog the way that the guy did through the other side of the fence?
Oh God, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Even
This is Bruce.
Even Z is even EZ is too butch for that. He can't possibly do that. In any case, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Eric Zane. Thank you to everyone in the chat for watching and participating in the show. That's all the time we have for now. But as always, this is Christian Blair reminding you every mic is a hot mic, but new year, new me, I'm gay.